Bring in acting DHS Deputy Secretary Ken Cuccinelli. Appreciate you being with us, sir. Every weekend we seem to talk, things are getting worse.
Well, I don't know they're getting worse every weekend, but this weekend you certainly had more cities involved. We had this maybe a month ago as well, and it didn't keep expanding. But, you know, what concerns me this weekend is you now have opposing groups intentionally showing up in the same places at the same time. And clearly the intent is to mix it up. And, you know, having been a state attorney general, policing 101 when you have opposing groups is you keep them separate. And that didn't happen in Portland yesterday.
The Portland police, we have different video.
No, that was a complete failure.
Yeah, the Portland police just let them go at it. Either they decided they didn't have the manpower to keep them apart or figured it was easier to let them go at it. It brings up an interesting question in Portland, though, because the federal courthouse that had been under siege for so long, things have moved away from it a little bit. But the bomb threat that was called in closed the federal courts. That was the same pretext that was used back during the Rodney King riots by then-President H.W. Bush to call up the Marines and declare the Insurrection Act there and bring in the Marines to stop the rioting in L.A. Have you heard rumblings of that being possible now because the federal courts in Portland can't operate?
Well, first of all, this president has not taken any options off the table, and he's been pretty vociferous about that. That being said, what we're dealing with here is people in the order of hundreds, not like Los Angeles in the early 90s with the Rodney King riots, where it was literally an entire swath of one of America's largest cities. So you're literally dealing with tens of thousands of people, potentially violent. And, you know, the tragedy here is this is all controllable if the governor would simply continue to back up, she's pulled out her state police, the local police, and bring in her own National Guard. She has over 7,800 National Guardsmen who she refuses to activate to contend with the situation in Portland. Oregon has the resources to solve this problem, and yet they refuse to do it.
It would probably also help if they
expected to be done at the state level.
It would probably help if they also stopped letting these people out with no bail who they've arrested for rioting and assaulting police officers.
Correct.
This video is a little bit different than what we've seen in the past. We saw this happen a little bit in Chicago, where these quote-unquote protesters, rioters, whatever you want to call them, have not gone into just sort of the downtown area like they did in Denver last night, but they actually went into neighborhoods and they stopped people from getting home. They were intentionally trying to sort of inflict a very violent and difficult situation on people who were just trying to get a good night's sleep. At what point, if the governor's not willing to do something and the city police either aren't willing or are unable or don't have enough manpower to do it, at what point is the federal government having to start protect people who are just trying to get a decent night's sleep in their neighborhood and are being turned around by these groups that come ready for a battle with shields and swords and long things to beat people with? Yeah, so
this crossing of the residential line is really one of those things that at least I personally feel like is an important escalation. And I mean that in a negative sense, of course, that people's homes are their castles. We've seen this happen before. We saw it in St. Louis most famously. But this is a very this is intentionally intimidating tactic on the part of I won't call them protesters because they're intimidating. They're criminals.
Right.
And when you have local authorities that won't, and that's the word here, is won't solve this problem, and in fact, some of them actually encourage these rioters and criminals, should the federal government step in. And as I said, this president hasn't taken any options off the table. I don't think we're going to ever broadcast how we would deal with that. But this is a pathetic failure of local and state officials. And
one of the things in the Insurrection Act to address an insurrection in any state which makes it impractical to enforce the law. So people can decide for themselves based on the video.
Well, the federal law.
That's met. Yeah, federal law.
Yeah, impractical to enforce the federal law. And there's no federal law being broken with people marching through residential areas, even if it's
Makes a good point.
intent to intimidate.
we got to run, but the intimidation in the residential barrier is a point you brought up as things have changed over the past couple of weeks. We appreciate the time as always, sir.
Yeah, good to be with you, Leland. Have a good weekend.
Good.